Did you know that Netflix offered Blockbuster a proposal to actually innovate in the way that Netflix innovated later on? Today we're going to talk about these type of examples and these type of reflections, because the question is, what would have happened to Blockbuster if they had accepted Netflix's proposal? So the third conditional is what we're going to use to talk about reflecting on decisions of the past. Now let's get right to the structure, and please, I want to ask you for some patience because honestly, this is a very long structure. Let's go back to the original example, right? So if Blockbuster had accepted Netflix's proposal of innovation, they would have stayed in the market. Let's take it step by step, right? So we're going to have if, right? Then we're going to have the subject, and then we're going to have the auxiliary had, right? So if Blockbuster had, always the auxiliary, no matter who the person, third person, first person, always had. Then we're going to go with the verb in past participle. So if Blockbuster had accepted in this case, then we move to the second part, which is going to be our subject again. Blockbuster, right? Would or could, depending on what you want to indicate. So we have those two options. Then we're going to have something that's going to be exclusive, have, that will never change. So Blockbuster would or could have, obligatory, verb in past participle next, stayed, and then the complement, in the market. Now, I'm pretty sure you're already thinking of your own examples. So why don't we switch to other things that we can reflect on? For example, I'm pretty sure all of you remember the company Kodak, right? The famous photography company that had those cameras, right? Well, let's reflect on that. What would have happened if Kodak had innovated in that time? We all know what happened, but at least we can reflect on it now, right? Now, there are other examples. For example, let's think of something that a product that we all know and a brand that we all know. Now, everybody knows Apple, right? And everybody knows the founder of Apple, which was Steve Jobs. Now, some people say that when Steve Jobs ceased to exist, that the company underwent various changes. So let's reflect on that. Some people would say, if Steve Jobs had not passed away, Apple would have grown even more than it has today. You see that? So these are the type of examples that we can think of. Now, I want you to think of yourself. What are the type of things you can reflect on when it comes to your past, right? Where would you have been if you hadn't met some specific person, right? Would you have reached the level where you are now if you had or hadn't studied a language? Which is a very important point that you need to consider. If you had not, or depending on what you think about, gotten married, decided to have kids, right? What would have happened in your life? Think about those type of answers, and I look forward to hearing from your comments, from reflecting on these type of situations. So everybody, that is the third conditional, and let's reflect on past. Great job. So that's the third conditional for all of you. Now, I want you just to consider that there are so many variables that you can use in order to implement this structure in a real and meaningful way. But let me close with this. I'm going to give you some reflections of my own life. For example, if I hadn't decided to become an English teacher, I would have not recorded this video. That's a very simple example, right? I'll give you something a little bit more profound about my life. For example, if I hadn't started to be a teacher, I wouldn't have met so many interesting people in my life. And that is a reality, because via this, we have the opportunity to meet you via this video and meet hundreds and hundreds of people over the course of the years. that's a reflection that is just real and that hopefully will inspire you to think about how you can reflect on your past life, your past professional trajectory, the past year, whatever it may be. So we leave you with that, and we look forward to seeing you in the next Grammar Capsule. Have a great day.